Hello and welcome back to another episode from Driving Britain. Today we're going to be looking at 15 amazing phone functions you had no idea even existed. Now whether we're talking about phone functions to manipulate apps or if we're talking about the sort of phone functions that you type in a code to try and find your IMEI number and things like that, I'm not sure. But what I do know is that if you look at video games, for instance, on PlayStation or Xbox, any of the main consoles, if you've got especially things like the shooting games, there's going to be cheat sheets for all of them, so you can get infinite ammo and all sorts of things like that, because people spend a lot of time trying to work out how to get more out of their devices and games and so on than what the average person is probably going to be able to access. Usually our devices and our games can do a lot more than what we're readily given, and that's why people try to kind of push the boundaries. But with mobile phones, I don't think that that's really happened, does it? Back in the day, you used to have to get kind of permission from your existing phone provider to be able to change to a new network, and one of the loops in that was to bring up your IMEI number, and that's where you would type in the code and try and get the number out. But other than that single code, nobody really kind of knew about any of the other codes. But the fact that that code existed did kind of trigger everybody's thought towards the fact that there's probably going to be a lot more codes there, and you can manipulate your device around in a lot more ways than what any of us can imagine. And apps, there's always things that you can change and little backdoors and stuff like that, although you've got to obviously pay attention to the legality of what you're doing, but I'm on about the innocent nature of things. But phones, it just never really happened, did it? There's a really limited scope for what we can and can't do with our phones. We're kind of given them by the manufacturers, and we're given the apps by the producers and stuff, and we're told that's all there is to it. And we know full well that there's going to be a lot more to it. They can all do much more than we're ever given, because you look at games or anything else, there's always a lot more. So I'm interested to see which things he comes up with. Hopefully he's talking about the phone codes and not just manipulating apps to, I don't know, change the font colour or something. But let's get into the video and have a look.
15 amazing phone functions you had no idea existed. Nowadays, everyone has a cell phone in their pocket. However, only a few people know about the hidden opportunities available by pressing certain key combinations. There are many of these codes. Some of them work with all phones, others only with certain models.
Okay, good.
But
Yeah,
all
we're
of them
doing the
allow
codes.
you to
That's
try
good.
some cool and useful features. The Brightside team has gathered the most interesting combinations that will give you access to the hidden functions of your phone. Did you know that you can hide your number in every outgoing call you make? Watch our new video to find out even more great phone tricks. Number 15. IMEI number. This simple code, *##06# is available for both iPhone and Android users. By pressing it, you can see your International Mobile Equipment Identity Number, or, as it's shortly called, IMEI. IMEI is a unique code for your phone. It can be incredibly useful in a lot of cases. For example, if you lose your phone or somebody steals it. Knowing your IMEI number, you can easily block your device from your service provider network if it's necessary. Police often use this number for identification. So just press.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. That's pretty much the first number that the public were exposed to that let us know that there's going to be more codes there. You know, at the time of using it, it's a real hassle to do it, and it was such a long-winded way to change from one network to another and keep your same number, which is what the reason for the code being moved across was all about. But the fact that we had to go through that obstacle and that they did make us, put in the number, indirectly let us all know that there was the prospect for infinite opportunities left on our devices, which we could explore, because we're now being given almost the beginning chapter of how to access those hidden parts of the menu that we know exist but have no idea to get into. Because on a touchscreen phone, you're kind of a bit restricted. On, say, a games console, then you're pressing different buttons in different orders, back, forwards, triangle, circle, colour, whatever it is that's on your console. And then you unlock infinite ammo or whatever you're trying to get. But with the phones, other than typing in random numbers, which there's a lot of possible numbers that you could type in, then you wouldn't even know where to start. And that might be one of the reasons why there wasn't really much movement towards trying to expand out the phone more than what was perhaps originally intended. But what I want to know is what ones other than this that everybody knows about are we going to come across.
Press this combination to find out what unique number your phone has. You never know when you'll need it. Number 14. Number identification. The code *#30# will help you turn your number identification on or off. So if you want to hide your identity and go incognito for some time, this is the way to go. It works the other way around also. By pressing *30#, you can find out the number identification of the person who's calling you if he or she didn't turn it off beforehand. Unfortunately, this only works on iPhones.
Yeah, I'm sure that on Android at least, you can just go into your settings and change that anyway. You can make your number incognito. I'm pretty sure you can. The last time I even looked at that, then you could. So it's not really something where you're going to leave it on, because you'll turn it on for whatever reason, then you'll forget that you've turned it on, and then no one actually calls because you're coming up as an unknown number. But I'm sure that you can access it from the menu. From the way you said that, maybe you still can't access it on an Apple, on an iPhone. I would have thought that that's been updated, at least on the last generation.
Number 13. Statistics and Secret Menu. The combination
That's more like it.
*##4636 #*# has various purposes depending on your device. If you have an Android, use this code to see the Wi-Fi signal as well as your battery and CPU usage statistics along with other information. Each of these...
Okay, that's more like it, because I know that you do get your battery status displayed on the top of the screen along with your Wi-Fi, but they're usually just kind of general graphics that tell you approximately. They don't give you any actual real specific information, and half the time they don't actually represent how much battery or how strong the signal is. In fact, there was some kind of discussions before that some of the icons were being a bit overamped to make it look as if you was getting better signal than what you really were, just to improve customer satisfaction. And I can easily believe something like that would happen. But being able to access your CPU data, that's especially useful, because if your phone starts to play up, slows down, things like that, it's really difficult, especially on a phone where you can't even take it apart, you can't pull the battery out or anything like that, then it's difficult to know what's going on. You can do all the normal stuff like empty your cookies and so on, but being able to see exactly what your phone is doing internally, that's a really big jump. So that's probably one of the most useful numbers you're going to come across. Although we don't know, maybe we're going to get even better stuff.
Selections has a variety of options. For example, in battery statistics, you can find out your battery's health, level, and even temperature. This code is also quite useful for those people who stick to motor.
Yeah, the temperature as well, that's a really useful one, because even the old phones, that clamshell type one, they used to come with built-in thermometers so you could find out your outside ambient temperature, but you don't get anything like that on mobile phones anymore. I don't think many people have a clamshell type phone running on a 3G network, unless you're in somewhere with pretty poor reception, in which case you're probably going to be better off having that type of phone, because it's the only way you're going to be able to ever make or receive a call. But trying to find out the internal temperature of your phone and what your CPU is doing, you get it on computers, you even get it on your games console, you get it on handheld games consoles, but you don't get it on your phone. And often, they're costing the same price as a car half the time, let alone a games console. I don't mean a PlayStation or Xbox type console, I mean like the handheld ones that do give you that sort of data.
Motorola, as it opens up
Would be nice to buy a main console for that sort of money, wouldn't it?
a secret menu of the phone. Number 12. No outgoing calls. The next code is working only on iPhones. The main aim of it is to disable any outgoing calls. Sometimes it is very necessary, and this code will definitely come in handy. So, if you want to try it, just press the following combination. *33*#. Voila! Now you won't be bothered by any outgoing calls. Don't forget that you can turn...
So I guess that's an equivalent of aeroplane mode. But if for some reason you can't access aeroplane mode, or if you really want to lock down your phone, then that's, or if you want to put on the equivalent of aeroplane mode, but only as far as calls go, because I guess your Bluetooth and stuff like that's probably still going to run, then maybe that's a good idea. Yeah, it wouldn't be good on an aeroplane, because the idea of the aeroplane mode for an aeroplane is to have no output from your phone whatsoever, including Bluetooth. But if you're in a situation where you want to make sure your phone's not going to ring or anything like that, you want to, completely isolate your phone, but you still want to be able to get music out of it, then that's pretty useful.
Turn this function off anytime by pressing *33**#. Number 11. instant factory settings. Good news for Android lovers! You can have an instant return to factory states. After using the combination *## *7780 #*#**, your phone will remove Google account settings as well as application data and settings. If you're in the mood for getting all the initial settings back, you can do it with a couple of simple clicks. Don't forget that this combination is irreversible, so don't use it without a good reason.
Yeah, I know that you can go into your settings and you can set the factory default and stuff like that, but I know that when I've done that on phones myself, you usually get two options. One's just to change your user settings and put them back to factory default, and the other one's a complete wipe where you knock off all the accounts and everything like that. And I've used both of those functions, but then when I've gone back into it to put Google accounts and stuff like that back on, it's had some of the data there still, so I know that it doesn't completely wipe it as much as what I thought it did. So that code's actually probably a lot more useful now than ever before, because before you'd knock your phone back to factory default because you'd made some changes and your phone wasn't working right and you wanted to just wipe it and start from the beginning. But now you get so much left on your phone by the companies like Google, YouTube and so on, that it's hard to completely remove all of that back off your device, even through wiping your phone and stuff. So if that's a complete override for everything, then that's quite a good useful one.
Number 10. Whole reinstallation. If you want to go a little further and set everything on your phone to your liking from scratch, you can always reset all of your settings at once.
I thought that's what he was saying the previous code was. So where I said that there's two functions, one just kind of knocks off your user settings for things like your Google account and stuff, and the full set kind of wipes your whole phone. I thought that he was previously talking about the full wipe, but it's not. That first one was to just wipe off Google, and I know that when you do that, it doesn't. That's where it mainly doesn't wipe it completely off from, because as soon as you go to re-enter it, it seems to then pop up with some of the stuff already knowing what you want in advance. So yeah, even if it was a completely blank sheet, then it just wouldn't be able to predict some of those things, which is why I'm suspicious that it wipes it off completely. So that first code, that's the extra useful one, because that's going to mean that you're not going to put your phone back to complete reset. But if you do need to completely reset your phone, you can't access your normal settings for some reason, then I guess this next code, that's going to be extra useful.
Code *2767 *3855 # will not only remove all your phone files and settings, but also reinstall your phone's firmware. So again, think twice before doing it. Once you press this combination, there's no way back. This code.
Although if you're going to say sell your phone secondhand on eBay or something and you want to wipe it so that you can sell it without your stuff on, when you wipe a phone, like doing what he's saying there, all it does is wipe off the stuff, but a record of it still remains inside the phone on the memory. And the only way it gets completely wiped off is if new information's written on the space where that's kind of sitting as a shadow. So you'd have to actually properly wipe off all of your stuff. You'd have to reinstall stuff on the phone and then keep on adding stuff onto the phone until you've completely maxed out all of its memory, and then rewipe it again, and then you've got a chance of actually wiping everything that you've put on the phone back off. Otherwise it's going to leave a shadow on the memory, even though it's not going to come up as something that people can generally access. More aggressive programs could access it, and people that have bad intentions usually have that type of software at their disposal.
Code will only work on Android devices though. Number 9. Better communication. The combination *3370 # is available only for iPhone users and turns on an EFR coding. It improves the quality of your communication, but unfortunately reduces battery life. So you have to be prepared that after you activate this feature, your phone will die way sooner than usual. You can always.
Yeah, this is the sort of thing that I would need to be able to find out about, because at times you just don't have enough signal. You might have enough to make a call, but not enough to be able to go through the internet or something. But at the same time, as I'm looking at this and as I'm thinking about it, with all the recommendations about radiation and phones near your head and all that sort of stuff, maybe the power's turned down to whatever it is turned down to because of, well, safety. Maybe winding up your phone on a regular basis to its maximum power for the aerial. maybe that's not an entirely healthy decision. But for a one-off, because you need to boost your signal power, or if you're somewhere where you haven't got signal and you need to make your phone work a little bit harder, then it's perfect.
Activate this function though, just by pressing #3370 #.
Picture's only iPhone.
Number 8. Listen to yourself. Another fascinating feature is available for Android users. Press the combination *## *##8351 *##, and you'll be able to listen to recordings of your own voice during the last 20 phone calls. You can do.
Hang on a minute. What? Let's just go back to that a little bit.
Do it just for fun or use #835 available for Android users. Press the combination *## *##8351 *##, and you'll be able to listen to recordings of your own voice during the last 20 phone calls. You can do.
Why would Android or anybody else be holding your voice calls for your previous 20 calls? Whatever happened to privacy? Are these being stored on your device, or are you accessing the network and you're pulling them from the network? Why would the voice, your conversation for your last 20 calls, be held anywhere other than somewhere where you've actually actively tried to record yourself on, a normal voice record type module? Anybody knows anything more about this, add it to the comment section, because I think that's quite a big concern, really. Who knows what's in your conversations, and why should anybody else have access to your private conversations? And is that in every country? It's an American video. Is this just something that happens in America? Is it done for security reasons? So that the police can access what somebody's been talking about on the phone if they've been found or something like that?
Do it just for fun or use this function when you need to refresh something in your memory. And who can miss another great opportunity to cringe at the sound of your voice? I surely won't. Number 7. Service Center Number. iPhone users can quickly find out the number of a service center for a current provider when in need by simply pressing the combination *5005 *7672 #. This is a very cool way to be able to get the correct number right here and now, instead of searching for it in other resources. Great idea, Apple. Number 6. Quick turning off. When you're long press the power button, your phone gives you some options, such as silent and airplane mode, as well as turning the power off. Android users will understand me. Well, there is a simple code for Android devices that will help you change the power button action in your phone. Press *# *7594 *##, and your phone will turn off instantly without showing you this small menu. This trick can be quite useful, right?
Yeah, one of the things that I own is a Samsung tablet, a fairly new one, but they've recently done an update where you press the power button to turn the device off and it doesn't do it. It brings up other options for other parts of the menu. To turn the device off, you've got to press the down on the volume and the standby at the same time, something like that. The sort of thing that you'd normally press on an Android phone to be able to take a screenshot. It's something like that combination of keys to be able to actually turn it off, to at least bring up that menu. You do get a phone keypad along with tablet, so I'm wondering if that's going to work on the tablet for me to be able to shut the tablet off when I want. Because to actually get it to activate, to bring up that menu, even pressing the right buttons, it's a right nightmare. I don't know why they've done it. It had a perfectly good button all of its own. So if anybody from Samsung is listening, I really dislike you right now.
Number 5. Call waiting. We all have hectic and busy days when you just can't keep up with everything that's happening. For some of us, multiple calls and messages during the day are basically an essential part of their everyday lives. Well, if you're in this group of people and you have an iPhone, there is a very important function that can make your life way easier. It's this combination, *43#. Entering it and pressing call will turn on call waiting on your phone, meaning that from now on, you'll be notified every time someone is calling you when you're already on hold. Call waiting also allows you to answer the new call right away.
Most phones do that anyway. Maybe it's just in the UK they do. But I thought that most phones will let you know if somebody's trying to call you. I know it doesn't always happen, because I've had plenty of occasions when somebody's trying to call me and I've had no idea. And the other thing is when somebody tries to call you and you get a missed call and then you get other missed calls, it doesn't let you know how many times they've tried to call you or how recent the last one is or anything like that. So there's quite a lot of flaws in it. But I thought they'd at least give you a call waiting. But I'm not sure. If anybody knows, if anybody's come across that, then let us know. Maybe it's a regional thing.
Must have. If you changed your mind, you could always go back to the start by dialing #43#. Number 4. Quick Service Menu. The next one is for the owners of Samsung Galaxy phones. You may not know about this, but you can have quick access to your service menu by pressing the combination *#0011#. With this code, you can explore your service mode and see all the extra information you may need. Number 3. Signal.
Yeah, that sort of thing is quite useful because that's the type of hidden menus that I was talking about. Like with the computer games. Everything that we get from anywhere, there's always a lot more to it than, with technology at least. There's always a lot more to it, and the boundaries on where things can go are usually way beyond what we're generally given access to. With computer games, mobile phones, your computer, you see people clocking the CPU and stuff like that to try and make them work a bit better. There's arguments for and against. Obviously, you're going to wear it out quicker, overheat it, and things like that. But the fact that you have to use third-party tools to be able to even make changes to this sort of stuff, it means that you're never really going to be given the full options on what you can and can't do with your different devices. And like I said earlier, mobile phones are probably the prominent one for that. We really are just sold the phone and told this is all there is to it. Access the stuff that we want you to access. It doesn't matter what else it can and can't do. You don't need to worry about that. We'll just tell you what you need to be able to do on it, even though we know that it can probably do quite a lot more.
Information. There is an interesting option that is available for iPhone users. Graphic mode isn't always correct in showing the level of the signal, which is why sometimes it's better to turn on numeric mode. To do that, enter the field mode by tapping *3001#12345#*. Then press and hold power until the off slider appears. Then release power and press home. Now you see your signal in dBA. Keep in mind that -140 dBA is the worst signal you can have, and -40 dBA is, on the other hand, the best one. To leave numeric mode, tap the same code and then press home to exit.
Yeah, that's what I was on about earlier. I know that the image for the phone signal, there was a lot of talk about that the amount of bars you were getting on the image and stuff like that was being increased to make people feel like you was getting a better signal than you really were. Being able to bring up the numeric function, I think that would be a lot more. Well, from your battery, you can bring up both with your battery as well, can't you, using your settings usually? And you know that the number that it says versus what the graphic shows, they're usually pretty different. So being able to get that in your aerial, then I think that's going to be a lot more useful. But there again, I'm not really sure what difference it's going to make to you. Yeah, you might be able to see how good or bad your signal is, but what you're really going to notice is you can either make a call and get onto the internet, or you can't. What the actual number value of your signal is that really going to make a difference? If you can't get on, you can't get on.
Number 2. Straight to voicemail. It's no secret that everybody feels like they just don't want to answer the phone from time to time. It can be just because you want to be left alone, or because you have to focus on something way more important, and all these calls keep distracting you. In this kind of situation, iPhone users can turn on the call forwarding function so that all your incoming calls will be pushed right to voicemail. All you have to do is dial *21#, and there you go. No more unwanted conversations. You can always turn call forwarding off by dialing the same number when you're ready to pick up your phone again.
Yeah, again, I thought that you can access call forwarding through your normal phone menu anyway. But I guess if on your device you can't access it, or if for some reason you can't bring up that part of the menu because you broke your phone or you got a crack in your screen or something, I think that's probably where a lot of these numbers are going to be most useful, isn't it? Because some of them I'm sure that you can access from different parts of your menu regardless. But anybody that's cracked the screen on a phone will know that sometimes it can be a real problem trying to access different parts of your phone if the bit that you need to click happens to be underneath the crack. So being able to manipulate your phone using a second method, that's definitely helpful.
Number 1. Hide your number in outgoing calls. And finally,
Didn't you cover that with
we got to one of
incognito?
the most interesting secret features your phone secretly has. First of all, it works for both iPhone and Android users, which is wonderful. And secondly, it's this simple combination #31# phone number that will allow you to hide your phone number in all outgoing calls. It's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, hang on, didn't we already cover incognito? Which is the same as that, isn't it? But either way, it's still a useful function, because if you do want to hide your number, you want to call somebody and you don't want your number displaying. But most of these things I'm sure that you can access from your actual menu. But if you've got something wrong with your phone, or you don't have that menu on your phone, then that's when these codes are useful. But I think that overall, the two things that I've seen on here which are ones that are worth noting down are the one to be able to access your phone's CPU values and its temperature, and also being able to boost your phone aerial. Because if you're in somewhere where you haven't got signal, being able to ramp up your phone in an emergency situation especially, then that's going to be a very, very useful one. But I don't think I would leave it on for too long, because like I say, there's so many recommendations against putting a phone near your head and things like that, and I'm sure that if your phone could have a better output, then they probably would normally give it a better output, and it is going to eat away at your battery very quickly. Okay, if there's any other numbers that you know of, or any other trick little functions on the phones that people don't readily know about, then add it to the comment section. Okay, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.